I just wanted to introduce myself to those that I have not met already. I am Mrs. Watson, the new SENCO at King's Priory. I wanted to give you a brief insight of SEND and how the SEND register works. So briefly, what is SEND? SEND is Special Educational Needs and Disabilities, that is the legal term, and that 20% of pupils have SEND at some point in their educational journey. Some pupils have SEND throughout their time at school. SEND is broken down into 4 areas. So the 4 areas that I'm going to discuss, I'm going to start with social emotional. This is pupils that may not be able to regulate their emotions, pupils that may suffer from anxiety, have attachment, pupils that have a diagnosis of ADHD, but it could be as simple as, from early on, pupils that experiencing building relationships and friendships. They may have experienced recent bereavement. They may show that they have low self-esteem. The interventions we can put in place are weekly check-ins from a key worker at Huntington Place. When they're in key stage 3 and 4 and 5, we may give them a loft pass for an area to regulate. They might then also go on to do Thrive or speak to a counsellor, or we have small group interventions such as Communicate and Regulate or ALSA in the lower schools. Going on to communication and interaction, this is where pupils have speech and language difficulty communicating with others because they don't understand what is being said, or they do not understand the rules of communication. The profile of a speech and language and communication may change over time. Pupils that have a diagnosis of ASD, autism, fall into this category. And then there is the third, cognition and learning. This is where we look at pupils that they're below the age-related expectations for it may be one area such as reading or maths. So therefore, with interventions that we put into place is numeracy, phonics, literacy, reading quest, but also pupils that have got a diagnosis of dyslexia, dyspraxia, or dyscalculia fall into this category. And the last area is sensory and physical. This is pupils with visually, hearing, or physical impairment, that equipment we have to adapt to meet their individual needs. But just want to say that some pupils may fall into one or more categories. Then to explain the SEND register. The SEND register is any pupil that is receiving anything additional or different outside the classroom. So we have 2 codes to be able to identify. First of all is T code, which is tracking. This is where the teachers identified a need. So for example, a need that they may be not age-related expected. For maths or English, we create a first steps plan. This is written by their teacher, and we have targets. This is normally 2 cycles, so 2 half terms. We discuss this at pupil progress meeting. And then we have the K code. So the K code is on the register, where a learning plan is then written and pupil passports are written, because then we identify the area of need, we identify their barriers and create strategies so teachers can meet the need of that pupil, and it's very individual based. And it's where they start receiving then additional and different provisions. All pupils are discussed at pupil progress meetings, which we hold on a termly basis. and this is known as the graduated approach. So how is this decided? So the graduated approach is because of kind of observations. The assess part is either observations or we're using data from classroom assessments, and then we assess, then we plan the interventions that we think is appropriate. So it's evidence-based. We plan, and then we do the interventions. So we carry out them interventions for maybe a term, and then we review. And the review is, have we closed that gap? Have they made the necessary progress? Do we need to carry on or try a different intervention? And this is the graduated approach. So this is where we discuss at the review at a pupil progress meeting. And at their meetings, it could be the head of year, the classroom teacher, and the SEND team. And this is where we discuss whether pupils can either move on from a K to a T, or do they need to come off the SEND register because they're not receiving anything additional or different anymore because the area of need has been met. Should you be worried? Absolutely not. It just simply means that we are discussing your child and making sure that the gaps in their learning have been closed, or if it's not learning and it might be communication or helping them for social emotional, that we have addressed and give them the suitable interventions. And then the interventions, just to let you know the interventions that we have got in place, I've discussed previously. So we have ELSA, which is emotionally literacy assistance, support assistance. So that's for Key Stage 1 and 2. In small groups, we have Thrive, and that's across both schools. We have a counsellor. We have Communicate and Regulate. So that's small groups, or we have that as a one-to-one from the SEND support team. We have SALT, which is the communication interaction, and that is the local authority can come in, so it's external agencies come in, but then give us the programme that we need to follow, so very individual based. We have them daily and weekly check-ins, because for social emotional, then pupils may just need a weekly check-in to check in if they're all right, to check in how they're coping. It might mean literacy and numeracy, so they are very small group driven across Key Stage 1 and 2, but again, maths and English is for Key Stage 3 and 4, small group interventions that are held in the loft. Phonics could be before school or after school, and Reading Quest. And then we've got the dyslexia programme. So again, pupils that have a diagnosis, we have external team come in from the local authority, give us on an individual basis a programme to follow, but again, the pupils may reach and complete their programme, but then they're still on the SEND register because we still have to ensure that they're making the progress they need to. And then Lexonics, again, is a reading comprehension programme that we delivered from Key Stage 2 to Key Stage 4. And again, when they reach and finish the programme, that is something above and additional that they are receiving. And we discuss at pupil progress meetings. Any interventions, if you've got any questions, please get in touch. If you think that your child may need some of these interventions, or this gives you explanation of why they're on a SEND register because they're getting something different. And I just want to give you an example of the team. So we've got the teams that deliver these programs we've got Team Loft, that is kind of the Huntington Place. So from year 5 to year 13, we've got over 10 staff here. And we put it up there because, again, I think in the jump when you come to year 7, pupils don't necessarily have the same person lessons in class support. So it's quite good for the pupils to be able to identify their key worker on that when they come to the loft. and they can see familiar faces and identify, and they will probably experience working with them from year 7 to year 13. And then we have the team on my right, which is the Percy Place primary staff, and again they move every year. They work at different year groups, but just to help you identify the support staff in place. And this is just some of the areas that we've got. So the loft is at Huntington Place. This is helping the year 5s transition to year 13. We've got sensory rooms. We have a quieter area for some that need that time at lunchtime, because lunchtimes are very busy and become very overwhelming for some pupils. We have the computer room, which is, you know, there for reading quest, homework club, and where some of the interventions are delivered. And then we have the new Oasis room, which again is based for year 5 and 6 to help with that transition coming from Percy Place over to Huntington Place. And it's been another safe space where small group interventions have been put in place. If you have any questions that I have kind of discussed, please just drop me an email on KPS Send, and that can be addressed. But thank you for listening. I hope I've answered most of the questions you have, and hopefully speak soon, because we will be available at all pupil parents' evenings. You can discuss and book an appointments with the SEND team on them evenings. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.